G'day team, welcome on in. Swapping easels for the morning, we're working on the dinner scene. So up close, bring the image up here for you guys. There it is, dropping down. Oh, wait, let me get the angle right there. Ching, ching. Now, it's got a lot of colours in it, but from the angle that you're seeing it from, a lot of those deeper tones are just kind of all fading to black. There's not enough funk in there. So we'll add a bit more of that. And then through here, this table, at the moment, it's very airy-fairy. It needs a little bit more definition. And the characters are actually really good. It's a big scene, so you're not going to see them perfectly, but we do want to see the insinuation of each character. Just a little bit of their energy. Hello. Yeah, long time no see, stranger. So we're in the new studio today. Missed completely. And I've been doing a lot of work here trying to get this place up to spec. If you hear airflow, well, I was trying to, set it up that way. I was trying to get these little mics going. And I'll take you around for a quick little look. Because we've got extraction occurring here on 2 holes pulling out a couple of litres per minute, and then a couple of fans pushing it through this way. So the combination of the two gets airflow. We're away. But I wasn't able to figure it out completely. I was missing one of the chords, so hopefully we find it. We might not. We'll see how we go. Set this one up here. I can do the world, bird. Then you do the monkey. Da, 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 da. And you do the whirly bird. I can do the whirly bird. Right, let me get those comment sections going. G'day Jules. Lovely to see you again. Yes. No, I've missed you too, and I'm sorry for disappearing for so long, but silver lining, we've got a pretty cool space, so let's share that. Ooh. I'll be back. I've left my paintbrushes in the house, and actually, in the shed, this is a bit hotter than I expected. Give me a second, Jane. I'm coming. Sorry, team. Paintbrushes. Now in lock. So, a lot of detail on it. We might go for a bigger brush later on. Voila. But honestly, we're going to stay around these smaller ones. About 10 mil. Don't know what that is in inches, but we work in millimeters in New Zealand. So that's us. But actually, what's funny is when I size up the artwork, I always work in inches, never in centimeters. So in some industries, basically, like art, that chop and change. You know, you spend half your time in inches, half your time in centimeters, and it gets confusing. They had an issue at one point too with, what was it, NASA, or one of Elon's companies. They had a rounding error, and it was catastrophic for the rocket. Don't remember a whole lot of details about it, but thank you very much. Now, I don't know exactly when your birthday is, Jules, but I'm assuming, as a total guess, it's less than a year away. And I just want to say happy birthday to you too. Aloha, Steve. And Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Whatever it is that you personally like to hear. That's not rain outside, that's the extraction system pulling air through the space. So we've got fans operating on that end, and over here we have the extraction, so for an air tunnel to be occurring. So that way the paint, what I'm using here, goes that way. Now, we could alleviate that with a lovely, lovely mic, but the issue with a mic is that you need all the cords, and I don't have all the cords. So we're stuck here in limbo with the equipment, but the inability to actually use it, and that's okay, but it does unfortunately ruin the sound for you guys for now. I'm good, welcome in. Steve's birthday was in early January, so we've passed by the birthday now. It was 12th of Jan. And I turned right, I think, at a guess, I turned, I want to say 32, but the fact I want to say that means I think it's 33. I'm sure it's not 34. It must be 33. But like, again, we're guessing. Could be anything. I think someone said, life's not about how many breaths you take, it's the amount of moments that take your breath away. Do you agree with that, Steve? Steve used to be a big wave surfer, so I'm sure he's very accustomed to having his breath taken away. Shelby comes in with some rough stories where the waves are just breaking and you get ragdolled and things like that. I actually, personally, I'd never be a good surfer. Never be a good surfer. And the reason why I wouldn't be a good surfer is I'm too keen on breathing. Like, I can't take a minute off. Some people, I've got a friend who can hold his breath for 8.5 minutes. He's going to be fine. But me, I'm not going to be fine. It's going to be a struggle. Here we are. Can you do the whirly bird? I can do the whirly bird. I can do the monkey, do the monkey. I can do the monkey. Can you do the whirly bird? If you're not watching The Wiggles, you're missing out. If you don't have kids, you're still missing out. You can watch the wiggles without kids. It's not quite the same. Man. I like the, not the, there's the old one, the toot, toot, chugga, chugga, big red car, and there's a new one. Annie's Bowmobile, toot, toot, dun, 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 dun. Don't know the words, love that one to bits. That's a good fun though. I thought I was in love with Miss Rachel. She was incredible, but the wiggles have a lot of, you know, you can choose your favourite. There's a bunch of different wiggles to choose from. And who's that there? Michael. Welcome on in, Michael. Michael or Mike? Getting my new knee soon, so we'll be back surfing. That knee has been a point of non-stop grief for you, Steve, and I'm not saying it'll ever end up in the past, but when it gets to a stage where you can go on living your life beside it instead of it being in control of you, that's going to be the most incredible thing. It was a thing when we met, and I really hope it starts to end up as time goes by more and more in the periphery of life. Like, those injuries never go away, but, you know, periphery would be primo. Michael? No, I like Michael, like the Archangel. I don't think the Archangel Michael went by Mike. That's just my opinion. Like, he's out there doing all his righteous things. And you're praying to Michael and he says, please call me Mike. I don't think, it doesn't, so if you're going by Mike, cool, that's totally fine. Then again, do you think Saint Sebastian went by Sid? I don't think he did. He probably stayed with Saint Sebastian. With Saint Sebastian gone back, I don't know. I don't think they shorted through syllable names back in those days. I think they just maintained. Did run into someone a few years back, and I asked them, they had a 4-syllable name. I said to them, oh, do you have a nickname? What do you like to be called? And they're like, my name. Oh, I am. Respect. 4 syllables. I mean, ideally they're not in a job where you have to call out for them a lot. So users, we're standing in a new studio. We've got a few pieces that we're working on, as always. I'll do a quick little spin and then we're going to get back into it. So 3 pieces. This one here is Porto, so massive landscape. It's coming together. Landscapes, we talked about this, they just need a lot of layering. This one here is a wedding shot going to Nicole down at the South Island. I've held that one back. It's compositionally it's good, but I want more subtle colours in it. And then over here we've got a dinner scene. Again, love this one to bits, but just like the landscape, this is more of a genre piece. It's in that mid-zone between a portrait and like zooming right out to get the whole restaurant. And so it's this mixture of definitive lines and intense layering, depending on where on the canvas you are. So that's been a process. And then we have the studio here. So a couple of ring lights providing a little bit of light. Those are the fans you hear in the distance, thus gently rotating around in little circles. I've painted 95%, but left the hardest bit of the brushwork here. So the plan is probably some of these streams will end up being us just getting up on a ladder and doing those last little bits. Yeah, so it wants to go right up there and cover that top beam, but not touch the roof. And then on these sides, the reason why I've waited with these is I'm not sure whether they want to keep the timber raw and stain it, or if I want to paint it all white. We'll see. We'll have a few coffees and hot chocolates one night, and we'll just make a decision. And then obviously there's our big sheet of Italian glass, which is currently my super fancy dog bed. So, good for Loki. I got a dog, actually, that's news. I've got a golden retriever. He's the most amazing little dog in the world. And so, plan is that table there will swap out for this one here. And then I just need to be careful with the amount of paint I use, where I use it, and what I do with it. Which will be good. Which will be good. Anyway. Anyway. That's the studio. I've got a bucket of black paint. The floor needs to go darker. I thought it was going to be all good I painted it light grey, didn't work. I painted it medium grey, it's better. I want to go black. It will require more cleaning, but at the end of the day, this does need to be a semi-dust-free environment, so paint can actually dry. So it doesn't matter that it's a really dark surface, and that would be unconventional for a shed. Yeah, the paints need to be. If the paints aren't organised, you'll end up using colours as compromises and not the one you were actually looking for. So getting it all laid out, looking all pretty, and like all you need, doesn't need to be alphabetical or anything. You need your mediums separate, and then you just need to be able to see what colour they are, and you can make a decision from there. But if you're a messy boy, like that's not helping anyone. That's been what we call in New Zealand a nincompoop. That's silly. So ideally, we would. Let me just get this straight again, guys. Here we are. Hey, Janice. So, yeah. And then shipping boxes, the shipping station's over that side. And then this isn't the framing station, this is just leftover frames. What typically happens is we finish the work. I get the frame usually made before the work's finished to try and, speed things up a bit. And then I put the frame on it and it doesn't work. It's not the right colour, it's not the right fit. It always fits, sorry. It's just not the right colour. So we'll swap it. And so like that big one there is, I think that was on, I forget. They're all floaters, but usually it's between that white, black, and wood tones, and you end up just going, nope, not that one, this one, nope, not that one, this one, and you just kind of, that happens. It's healthy too, you don't want to just use a frame because you have it. You need to actually get the right. A good frame can make it work, a bad frame can ruin it. Right? And that's quite important. All of you, Phoenix, Steve, you guys. Wait a minute. When I was streaming last night, have you guys slept since we were last? No, you can't have. You've gone from morning to night. So, you caught me in the morning and now you catch me in the evening. Is that? I think that's what's happening. Let's go to the getting station. And there's a bowl of field. And like, as you guys know, this one's been in the studio for, you did this a lot, Michael, we were just running around yarning about it. Ah, okay, so I was thinking right now, Phoenix was the unorthodox time, but actually, if you were on a random time for the other one, that makes sense. I'm also partial to a 3 AM scroll. The problem is when it turns into a 4:30 AM scroll, then it gets into a problem. Alright, we've swapped from Michael, we've now got a Mike. And, Mike Mischief. So Mike Mischief, we were just talking to someone who was Michael. and confirming that probably the Archangel wouldn't like being referred to as Mike. So, yeah. So, we've restarted, and started again on this one. And now on this surface here, I've coated it a few times with heavy liquid glass coats with the intentions of flattening the surface so we add more colours and strokes to it. It hasn't landed where it needs to be. And so we're just going to keep persevering with it until it does. There's no other way around it. This has been here for months and months and months. But every picture goes on its own little quest. And if we try and strangle or wrestle it to go faster, it'll end up just actually either ruining it or taking longer. So we just have to go on the quest and entertain it, which is always welcome. It is always welcome. I know I'm going to. And there's Bowler Field. A couple of areas it's sort of a bit dark. Wait a minute, what's going on there? We need to catch up soon, Phoenix. I've been off all my social media. This is news to me. It's funny how recreationally or professionally, if things go for a tailspin in your personal life, you can't put it in a box and keep it out. It'll always project and have an impact on what you're making. It's unavoidable. Can I be so naive to assume everyone's healthy now? Or on the way to healthy? Robbie, and who's that? Thanks, Michael. You can assume that these brushes are honestly, cheap brushes are the best. This is just a regular synthetic brush, and you can't use it for oils. It won't be gritty enough, but it will be the perfect level of softness for acrylic work. What you're looking for is the cheapest possible brush that doesn't have bristles that come away. If the bristles come away, it's no good. If the bristles stay, it's perfect. And you'll usually find that the synthetic ones are, just because they're uniform, more consistent. The brush is not a place to start thinking, I'm going to go into some organic, this or that. Synthetic uniform perfection is quite good to help you get the right structure in the painting. If there's enough moving parts coming from yourself, how you mix the paint and what you do, you don't need to include the fact that the brush is subpar or bristly or broken in some way. You can, sometimes it's essential, but most of the time you can get the desired result by just using an all synthetic brush. That's what I'm saying. That's the thing. The initial scare is always we're quite resilient. You can handle the initial scare of some bad medical news, but the toughest part is the ongoing tests and the lack of certainty for weeks, months, years. That's the worst. And that's why with things like thyroid cancers and stuff, some people just opt to pull out both thyroids because they're like, nah, I don't want to live with the possibility that cancer will come back, so they just opt for hormone tablets for the rest of their lives. And like, in the same breath, I respect that decision. Because the uncertainty. No one likes to play. We prefer certain bad news than uncertain, ambiguous news. Is that true? Maybe. I don't know. That's awful though. Which people had a hard time, which would come up also for them. He deserves a break, Phoenix, that's for sure. A bit unfair, really. Sorry, I'm just a bit song stuck in my head and it's harder than you think to kick out. Funny you say that because I didn't want to start streaming again while I was in a block while I was trying to get the studio up to scratch. And Shelby actually gave me this card. She said, there you go, Phoenix. She said, creativity thrives on limitations and challenges. Anyway, the advice, it's my own advice from past Seb, is get what you have, pretend it's enough, and begin. And here we are, and it was the best move, because the studio is more than we've ever had, and yet I'm looking at it previously like it wasn't enough. That's a problem. So, art block cards, sometimes you hear, like, it's just ironic that it's my own advice, and like, you forget to take that at times. You sit there barking at everyone for so long, saying, do this, do that, this is what you should be doing. You forget to look in the mirror and be like, I need to take this advice, that advice. Like, and also that, maybe that's not your card, Janice, but like, this is a good one too, because when everyone comes in with advice, well intended or not, it all just becomes, here's directives to do. There's no singular right path, only good steps. And like, I need to hear that so often. Like, forget about what the right answer is. Just make sure when you select the right answer, or try and select it. Oh mate, for lack of a better way of putting it, does the vibe feel right? Are your intentions towards it right? Because a lot of the time, you think it's the right answer, but it doesn't feel right in your gut. Well, that's probably the wrong answer then. And you're being coached into something. You're using too much mind, not enough heart. Do you ever dream about your art? Inspiration from dreams? It's like, no. I dream about all sorts of wacky stuff. And some nights I stay up too late, like I'm insomniac. And when you stay up too late, I find it affects your dreaming. You don't get R&M like you should. So, no. Thanks, Chuck. I wish everyone liked it when I point things out. There we go, now we're cooking on gas. That saying actually needs to be altered too, because actually gas isn't the most efficient way to cook anymore. We should say now we're cooking on induction, and more accurate. And there's a bowl in the field. I mean, that's with you. Confidence and realistic expectations don't normally swim in the same pool, but if that's working for you, that's good. Unrealistic expectations is fun, but you've still got to be grateful for what you've got. If you can play those two, which kind of don't like going in the same room together, if you can play with both of those and simultaneously have unreasonably high expectations, but then love every little thing you get, have got, and give, and get given, what a great place to be. Like Gandhi, he was happy with nothing, but he did have the unrealistic expectation of world peace. So like, it can be done. But saying it can be done because Gandhi did it, isn't really helping us out too much, is it? And there's Bowmobile. Maybe one day we just stop everything and then start a career doing covers of Wiggle songs. The only problem is my daughter already doesn't like how I sing them, so what's that going to achieve, right? And there's Bobby. Really out some more reds, chocolate. You know what colour I don't like in paint? I really think we missed on green. I don't like any green paint. I like green things. I love green nature. I love green tiles. I like green marble. I like green leather actually. Like, love green in a bunch of ways. Hate it in paint. Same goes with brown. Brown in paint is the most naff thing to me that you can find. Brown and green. Like, which is funny because they're the colours of nature, and art kind of wants to reflect nature, but it can never replicate the beauty in greens and browns that you get from nature. So, I mean, you say green money. Money in New Zealand isn't green, it's like orange and purple and pink, which is great, hard to lose. And even in America, I would honestly say your money is more like a tan tone. Like, yes, there's green on it, predominantly tan, or like an off parchment white. Now we're coming down. This guy here, so the character here doesn't really being fully recognized. When he comes down here, it's like that, and then that character, and then her kid actually starts down here. So she's got little glasses here, which we're going to add in, and she's a little mouth, and then she'll look that thing down to there, and this table actually rockets around here. So there we go. As I painted more and more layers, the table just lifted up and up and up and up until the point that it was actually more of a Van Gogh-y symbolism work. And while that's nice, we want to capture the vibe of the dinner scene. We don't want to do harsh outlines. We want energy, not outlines. I mean, that's good for you, but like I say, greens in nature, tiles and leather will always beat greens in paint. But, and like yellow as well, yellow's best on flowers. I love yellow on daisies, dandelions. I love yellow on flowers, but I don't love it in painting. Our pigments aren't quite right, but I do love blue and red. I think blue and red's where paint really hits a mark. And like inside blue and red, we get teal, we get magenta, we get royal purple. We just get a bunch of vermilion, Venetian red. We get a bunch of fun pigments either side. Don't get me wrong, yellow's great, love Naples, but actually yellow's not. No one sees a yellow painting and thinks, wow, that's the best yellow I've seen in the world. It's like 8th place at best. You know, sometimes I wonder if the best way to go viral on a stream is to just sneeze every 30 seconds So the comment section is just a sea of bless yous. Or do you think people get sick of it? Hey Sarah. Let's grab some Naples. And there's Bowmanville. Boop, boop. We do need some white, but I think I've got white over here. We do have parchment and we do have unbleached titanium. Sweet! Bleached titanium. Doop, doop. Leave that right. Move that over there. Grab it laid out. This is why it's so nice to have all your brushes at once so you can just swap on over when need be. The electric generator has a full charge on it as well, so it's at 100%, probably not now, so it's been running for a while, but we do want to see how... Just stop for a moment. That's terrible news. We do want to see how long it goes for, because that is kind of like our cap on how long we can paint for. At the moment, we don't want to be painting in the studio in this hot weather without this ventilation, without creating an air chamber. And my first instinct when I was like, right, ventilation, sweet, here's how we're going to do it. I'm going to get a roller door on both sides, lift them both up, air tunnel, big commercial fans in the middle, Bob's your uncle. That was going to cost $9 grand a door, plus stabilising this one for about 3, plus the fans themselves, so we're talking about 24K. Anyway, my current fix is about $1,000, which is way more reasonable, so that's what we're playing to at the moment. Hey Bertie, welcome on in. Have you been making plenty of art? I'd like to know. Since you're here, Bertie, I'm just going to do a quick tour of the studio. It's been good. You can see it too. Now, Porto, that's a portrait we're working on here. It's not a portrait, a landscape. So that's in the process there. It is really textured up close. Early days yet, needs a lot more layering. And then we have our wedding shot. Again, I had it ready to send off. I have the frame down here for it. I pulled the frame off. Yeah, and that over there is the box for it. Pulled the frame off, took it out of the box, the other way around, and we're going to add a bit more to it, just a bit more. And I've kind of been looking at it going, but why? Temptation is just more blues and greens, but I think it needs some flashes of magenta. Kind of undecided at this stage. Fans over there, they're blowing air this direction, just very lightly, and these things here are extracting air out this side. So we've got 2 holes in the wall, 1 and 2, and they're pulling at a rate of 250 roughly square meters per minute. So in this space here, we've got about, I'd say this room gets a fresh set of air equivalent about every 2 to 3 minutes. And then, like I was saying, Bertie, we need a bit more paint around these edges. And without going into it, that's my ultra ridiculous Italian glass dog bed. And like, honestly guys, it could honestly be a dog bed forever. There's no reason we have to think, let's make it into a table. It could just stay like that. I'd pull the polystyrene out and put rubber under it, but maybe the dog gets a fancy Italian glass 3.5 metre dog bed. Is there a problem with that? I think that's fine. Kidding though. I think it'd be fun to use it for the kids. I'll keep the wood one probably, but the kids can have the glass one. And the reason for that is my paints will adhere permanently to stuff. So the wood one's perfect, so I can sand it back, that's this dirty little table here. I can sand it back, I can to get paint on it, and I don't have to feel bad, and I can pack it up and take it outside if need be. That one there, if the kids work on that one, and that's Loki's artwork on it at the moment, he calls it Footprints. Footprints in the Mud, I think, full title. That one's great for kids because their paints won't be as permanent, so they'll be able to use the glass and I can just wipe it down afterwards. Which I think that's quite cool. It'll look quite nice there. Actually, we're not going to mix it with red, we're going to mix it with a little bit of this. And everybody's going into town. Spots. It is summer here for 1 more month, and then we're into more relaxed temperatures. It's crazy hot here right now, so we're navigating that. And thanks, Aggie. And hey, LJ. You too, Birdie, can have a studio that looks like this. All you need is a very dirty old shed. And then, no word of a lie, I took so many trailloads of rubbish out of here. And water blasted it, we put the power in, now we need to paint it, which you'd think would be the easiest part for me, but it's kind of like 2 barbers in town where one's got a good bad haircut, one's got a good haircut. Which one do you go to? The one with a bad haircut? Kind of like that. And of all the things I could be doing, I'm the slowest on doing my own painting. How wild, how truly wild. Did he actually? Is that true? Nah. Nah. Don't you come around and tell me Pablo Picasso was in the studio. Did he actually? Can someone verify Oliver's claim? Oliver's claim sounds like a rocky outcrop on a epic journey. You've now reached Oliver's claim. Get like a reward, like in a computer game functionality. I don't know. Good day to you too, Robbie. Right now, in my first year of university, I had a flatmate called Robbie. He thought I was a wee bit lame. Fair enough, I was. So, and there's bones on the field. Nada ding dong doo 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 doo. Renegade, welcome on in. Look at us. You say Rob. Was he Robbie, but Rob for short? He must have been. Just going to get a little bit of black and just fight with a bit of this composition. Take back a bit of control from it. It's kind of I know I was saying I want vibe, but there's a few outlines that are locking. Always. Ah, yes. Robert on legal papers. See, we call a Robert, short name would be Bob, which is kind of funny. And you're a Rob as well, so Robbie's a Rob as well. But it's the politics of a name like Robert. It's not easy out there. In fact, in my high school, not a word of a lie, we had 4 Sebastians. So there was Artie Baz, which wasn't actually me. We had Artie Baz, we had Tall Baz, that wasn't me either. Oh no, sorry, Artie said, Tall said, Regular said, no wait. No, that's right, it was Artie, it was all Sebastians, and we had Artie Baz, Tall Baz, and Regular Baz, and then I swapped to. Did I swap to it? No, I didn't. I stayed on it. I was just sick. But everyone else, I can't remember. It's all a haze, guys. High school. I don't teach classes, but if you've got the time, hanging out there and asking a few questions, if you like the art, great place to be. Just do what few people do. Hasn't happened for a while, but a few people do it. They leap on in if the timing matches up and just paint with me. Because sometimes you don't need a lesson as much as you just need a creative companion. Like, you go to a lesson and suddenly you feel weirdly shackled, like you're the problem. It's because you didn't want a set of guidelines. What you did want was just someone to play with and laugh while you made some art, and then you'd go where you wanted to go. But so many people wonder why they stop making art when they do it in isolation. You can't make art perpetually in isolation and get cold and numb. You have to have a creative buddy. And it doesn't have to be in the flesh. Like, actually, it suits me better to have the whole space to myself, so I can be messy, I can put things where I want to have them. But if I get lonely, it'll reflect in the art. That's not what we want. So get an online creative buddy. I'll be yours. Yep. Where have I been? Look, I've been all over the show. The important thing is, I'm here now. Rakib, welcome in. Sebi is good. Thanks for asking. Rakib Mesh, we're gonna hold off about going into too much detail with it. But Michael, you are doing the classic skirt. last colour through here. And then we'll pause. Alright, there we go. And you go wash these, and I have to go pick up some more paint mediums. But it's also starting to hit the heat of the day. And this extraction, while it's nice and mild temperatures in the heat, everything just starts to boil. So wild. Anyway, wishing you all the best from the New Zealand studio, the new New Zealand studio in its messy, messy state. And we'll talk soon. Cheers, guys. Bye.